Yes. It's every time I do one of these, it's the first question that everybody asks. I set it in the States because, well, one lady at Bexborough said, we have towns called Grimethorpe. We don't have towns called Friendship, so I set mine in America so that I could use the town of Friendship, because what's more perfect than a town called Friendship? There's nothing more perfect than that. It's just a shame that the town's actually not that perfect.
How long did it take you to write the book?
I started in the February when he passed away, and I finished in the July. Yeah, it just flowed out of me. I just knew. I wrote the end first, which I always do, and then filled in the gaps. But I just knew the story from start to finish, and I just started, and it just came. And it was just a really easy story to write, and it's only a short story, so all the action starts probably chapter 2. Chapter 1's a nice, calm, and then chapter 2 it starts going.
I didn't have my glasses on when you showed us the back of the book, so who's the character on the back?
So that's Jake.
Right.
So that is the spitting image of him. The lady that did my book cover had photos of him, so she literally hand drew him for me, so that it is him on the back. And there's a lot of things in the book that are his mannerisms and his quirkiness, because he was a bit of a strange dog. So everything in the book is his character, and it helped me grieve writing about him. So it was definitely therapy. It was good therapy.
So have you always
written?
written?
A book before?
No, never. Because I think it was a shock when he died. He wasn't poorly, he just died. So I'd gone from walking him morning, noon and night to what do I do now? And then me and my partner went to watch a horror film, and it wasn't scary at all. So I sat halfway through the film and said, right, I'm going to do better, I'm going to write my own horror story. So that's how it started. And then it just happened. Since writing this book, I've got dozens of stories in my head. I've always had a really good imagination, so I think that it's always been brewing. It just took his passing to start it all going. So I've got loads of stories. The second one's coming out in a couple of months, and then I've already got an idea for a third. So as soon as the second one ball's rolling, I'm going to be writing again.
So it's a horror genre, is it?
Yeah, the second one's a children's book. Which that we're just doing now. We've just finished the book cover, and me and my partner got the edits yesterday, so we're just starting the edits, which is the worst part. And then the third book will be a crime thriller. That I've already got that story already there in my head. I just need to get it out. So.
Is it deliberate that you're trying out all these different genres? Because writers do tend to be sort of pigeonholed into
yeah.
A thriller writer.
I've got so many stories in my head. They're not. The publisher would like a sequel and a prequel to this, so that will eventually happen. I already know roughly the sequel, but they want a story before this happens as well. So, yeah, I've got all sorts of stories in my head. I don't want to be tied to just one story. I'd want to do all others. I just need to make sure I don't get them muddled up. Because nobody wants a children's horror story, do they? So yeah, I just need to get them all out, but I didn't know I had all these stories in my head until this one. So
are they set in the States as well?
No, the children's book's in England. I haven't named the town that the story's based on in here, but it's actually Bentley, which is where we used to live, because it's got a bowling green and a park. So I don't call it Bentley, but it is Bentley, because that's where we used to take Jake, who's also in the second one. So yeah, there's all these places I've got in my head. They're all coming out now.
So how did you go about getting your work published?
Okay, so my partner Googled the top 100 publishers in England, and then wheeled it down. A lot weren't taking submissions. A lot wouldn't take the word count, because this is only 28,000 words. A lot of them wanted a proper novel, wouldn't take it. Some of them weren't taking horror, and he was left with one, which is Blossom Spring. So we sent the book to them, and 2 weeks later they sent me an email saying we want it,
Brilliant.
and we want a sequel and a prequel as well, please. So that's how it all started. And then about a month ago, I sent them the second book, and again 2 weeks later, we want that book. We want to start the ball rolling. We want to give you a contract. So it's all happening again now.
It's astonishing to get your first book taken up by the first publisher.
The first one, yeah, the first one, and they are amazing. We've just been doing reviews on their website. I did it last night to try and get new authors to go with them, to pick them, and they are absolutely amazing. They just can't do enough for me. Just we take photos of all the library talks. They put them all over the social media. They promote all the talks that I'm doing and all the interviews. They got me an interview 2 weeks after I got published for a radio show in America. So I did that 2 weeks into being an author, and I was doing a radio show in America. Yeah, nerves. And then I started emailing libraries saying, would you put a poster up for me? That'd be amazing. And then one of them got in touch and said, why don't you come and do a talk? I thought, oh no, I don't want to talk about it. You just sell it. So we did Asken first. Mum and Dad were at Asken, sat behind you. And about 4 times I was going through the door, I wasn't staying. The ladies started turning up and I thought, I'm just going to walk home. I'm not going to do this. This is not happening. And then once I read the first chapter, which I literally know off by heart now, I don't even know why I picked the book up anymore.
To look professional.
Well,